Hi everyone, it's Dr. Nani here. So I'm a GP and a family physician. I want to say a big thank you to those of you who have subscribed to my channel. It's only about 10% to subscribe. I think, you guys can do better now. You're enjoying the channel, you're learning, you're sharing as well. So I appreciate that. But I need you to subscribe, press that subscription button. That just keeps me encouraged and motivated to keep doing more because I am bringing you quality medical education, which I hope is beneficial to you as you do tell me so thank you for those of you who have subscribed and especially for those who just joined the Dr. Nani's live channel. You're very welcome, and I hope you enjoy your time here and spread the word. So today's topic is not a very pleasant one. It's one I sort of shied away from talking about, but I was up at night and I was reading the domestic abuse information from United Nations, from UK, and from Canada, and I was just horrified, and I just felt like I'm going to speak out. And so I'm just going to share some of the statistics with you. They're not very, it's grim reading, so just listen. So this one is from the United Nations. I thought I'll start with that because when I was early on in my career, so maybe the early 2010s, what have you, it was domestic violence. But now they've termed it domestic abuse, which is more encompassing because according to the differences when I researched, the violence is like one act or so of violence, right? Whereas domestic abuse is more encompassing of all the behaviors, which could be persistent for a period of time. So this is what the United Nations says on their website. Domestic abuse, also called domestic violence or intimate partner violence, can be defined as a pattern of behavior in relationship that is used to gain or maintain power and control over an intimate partner. So it's not domestic abuse if you're quarreling with somebody in the street. It's just someone that you live with, right? That is part of your life, either ex-partner, spouse, or current one. And it says the abuse can be physical, sexual, emotional, economic, or psychological actions or threats or actions that influence another person. This includes, listen, any behaviors that frighten, intimidate, terrorize, manipulate, hurt, humiliate, blame, injure, or wound someone. And it says domestic abuse can happen to anyone of any race, age, sexual orientation, religion, or gender. It can occur within a range of relationships, including couples who are married, living together, or dating. Domestic violence affects people of all socio-economic backgrounds and education levels. And it says in bold, anyone can be a victim of domestic violence, regardless of age, race, gender, sexual orientation, faith, or class. And it says the victims actually is not just the adults who are in the partners in the relationship, but also it includes a child or any other relative or household member. So as long as you're in the house, you're hearing the abuse, you're witnessing the abuse, then you are affected. And in fact, in the UK, I know that when the police attend domestic abuse cases, if there are any children, they would report to the health visitor, depending on the age of the GP, to monitor that child and keep an eye on the child. And he goes on further to say that domestic abuse is typically manifested as a pattern. There's a lot of difference between violence. So violence can just be one act, maybe you run away and live to fight another day, so to speak. But this one is a pattern of abusive behavior towards the intimate partner, where the abuser exerts power and control over the victim. And he says it can be mental, physical, economic, or sexual in nature. I think they said that already, and they're just repeating it because obviously it's very important to emphasize. And it says this, and this is what I want to bring home today. Incidents are rarely isolated, usually escalate in frequency and severity, and domestic abuse may culminate in serious physical injury or death. So that's quite a heavy definition, and we're only, starting. And it says here, are you being abused? This is for you to know for yourself. Are you being abused? It says, look over the following questions. Think about how you are being treated and how you treat your partner, because sometimes we talk about victim of abuse, but some people are the ones perpetrating it. That is why there are victims, right? So recognizing the signs of a domestic abuse. Does your partner embarrass or make fun of you in front of your friends or family? Do they put down your accomplishments? Oh, nothing, as if you're just nothing. They make you feel you're unable to make decisions. So basically, they affect your confidence. They use intimidation or threats to gain compliance. If you don't do this, I will do this to you, or I will take this away from you. Basically bullying you, right? Tell them you're nothing without them. Treat you roughly, grab or push, pinch, shove, or hit you. call you several times a night. So make sure that you are where you said you're going to be. You said, I'm going to be finishing at work at 6:30, and it's 6:30 and you're not at home because you said you'll be back by 6:30. By 6:31, they're calling you. Do they use drugs or alcohol as an excuse for saying, "Oh, I was drunk. That's why I did it"? Do they blame you for how they feel after? It's all your fault. I'm this way, you know. Do they pressure you for sexually for things you aren't ready for? So say maybe they might want to have an unorthodox forms of abuse or sexual intercourse. They might want to do something in a different way that you're not comfortable with. That's also abuse. And make you feel like there's no way out of the relationship. This is really heartbreaking because you're trapped, you know. And then do they prevent you from doing things like you want, like spending time with friends or family, and try to keep you from leaving after a fight or leave you somewhere after a fight to teach you a lesson? And do you sometimes feel scared of how your partner may behave? Do you constantly have to start making excuses? Oh, I'm sorry he behaved that way. It's not normally like that, but you know that he is, right? Or she is. Do you believe, oh, I'm just going to stay with him? I feel like really can help him. I can help him. And if only I change this about me, maybe if I didn't talk so much, maybe if I didn't argue back, or maybe things would be better. It wouldn't. For free, that's free advice. And then again, another one is walking on eggshells. You try not to cause conflict. I think this person has a temper, right? And you're just trying to be very careful about what you do so that the person doesn't get angry. It's like you're always uncomfortable, making yourself uncomfortable to keep them comfortable, and always doing what your partner wants instead of what you want. So say you might not want to go out to a particular um when you see a movie or just go to the friend, and they say no, no, we're going. It's like, okay, so you have to go, right? And then another thing is, do you stay with your partner because you're afraid of what will happen if you broke up? And this is where you're now becoming financially dependent on this person. And then they end by saying, no one, and that's in capital, deserves to be abused. The abuse is not your fault. You are not alone. Don't worry about threats to your visa. There's information about that. Canadian government is good with that. I'll give you the link. If you're worried, oh, if I leave them, they're going to make sure my life is miserable. I'll have to leave the country. There's information for that. And also, they end by saying that don't worry if you do not speak the local language, we can get you help in many languages. So this is the United Nations. Then this is from their website, and I'll put the link in the description. But my 2 cents on this is, look, it's very common, especially in the Black community, especially in Africa. So we have Black community in diaspora as well. But even back home, many of us will have been victims or seen domestic violence or abuse. It was so rampant that it was almost normal. It was like your husband beat you, and so what did you do to him? If you even go to the police and say your husband beat you, they will say the police will tell you go home and submit to him and go home and cook for him or whatever it is. In Nigeria and where I grew up, so I can't talk about other African countries, but for Nigeria for certain, it's not that common to have women abusing men because you've got to have strength, right, to abuse a man. So most women wouldn't have the physical capability to do any damage to a man. Of course, they can use their mouths, right, and talk him to death or what, not him or whatever it is. But that's not really violence. Of course, it can be painful if she's saying hurtful things. I think my message today is, do you know what? We're none of us are children here. Let's just stop all this. I really want to speak to victims. You're not alone. It's been said to you, and I'm going to say that to you as well. There's so many people in the UK. The statistic is 1 in 4 women. So you just think about 4 women, one is likely to be abused or has been in the past. For men, is 1 in 6. So just think about that's such a small number. In a survey I read online that was done by the British government, it wasn't a reported one. It just did a survey. It was more like 7% for women, 3.3% for men. The percentage should be zero, right? You have no right to make another person's life miserable. That's just it in a nutshell. As far as I'm concerned, it should be zero tolerance. You have no right to make another person's life miserable. What right do you have? Who did you create? Who did you make? You have no right, full stop. And I think I want to call this out because it's very close to home for me. And I also want to say that if you're a victim, you should seek help. I mean, the jury is out on what kind of help you can seek. And I'm not going to tell you what to do because, again, that's not my place. I can only support, give advice. But if you are in trouble and if your life is at risk, you better run. They say, the Igbos say, no, I think it's not even the Igbos, it's the English saying, actually. This one I wanted to say was that if you run away from a fight, you live to fight another day. And the one the Igbos say is, Ano Jum, Amarosa Aba. So by the time you're in a relationship and you're having you have children, an animal with young babies cannot run very far because you're looking out for your babies, right? So if you're getting yourself into a relationship and you're going to be abused, you're going to be stuck So look before you leap, before you say I do. Think well. Go and pray, go and fast, go and get confirmation, go and look at the background. What is happening in that person's family? This is why Nibo Nigeria say they go and ask questions. What, because patterns sometimes repeat themselves. And if the person prone to alcohol, rages, drugs, all these things. So before you get carried, and everybody's looking for husband now. You see all the testimonies, people are looking for husband. But be careful, people are looking for wife. Like I say, in our community is more the men, to be honest. I'm just gonna focus on the men as abusers. I'm not saying all men are abusers, obviously, not all men are. I have so many people that I know that are lovely men. But for the sake of this definition, it's just to encourage people that if you are an abuser, you've got to stop. Like I said, you have no right to do it. You will be judged either by the courts or by God Himself. You just need to stop. I don't even have so much story to say. You have a problem, you go get help, go and get counseling, go and see a psychotherapist, talk out your issues. If it's something that's from your past, then go and pray. Let them break the bond or whatever it is. I just think no to domestic violence. And I'm going to end with that. No, no, no. Domestic violence is not cool. It dehumanizes people. It just dehumanizes people. The children, they grow up traumatized and then they repeat the pattern. I remember one case that one officer was telling me, he said to me, there was one woman, every day they would call them out. They'll go and rescue this woman from her husband. Then her husband, and the officers themselves were like, thank God. They were at the same time, they were telling me the story. This woman is dead. And then I got another call, the same woman crying. He said, but the man is dead now. What is it? It was her 15-year-old son. He said to her, who do you think you are? Go and get me my dinner. 15, oh. He was pushing his mother. They took him, they locked him in the cell for one night to teach him a lesson. He never did it again. And that's the thing. When we see this kind of behavior, we need to call it out. We need to be our brother's keeper, our sister's keeper. We need to look out for it. It's not when you go and tell your aunties, I'm struggling. They'll say, don't worry, you're not the first to just endure, just bear. No. Domestic violence is not cool. It's not on. It's not happening. This is 21st century. We've got to move on from all these things that we used to hold people bound. So I think I've said my 2 cents, probably more than 2 cents. But if you think this is worth sharing, then please do share it, like it. As I said before, subscribe so that I can keep making more videos that are relevant to people's lives right now. And also, if this has triggered you, I have links on my channel. I have other videos I've done on anxiety and depression. Please just click on them and get help. Go to your GP for help. There's lots of refuge, domestic violence refuge numbers. I'll put again in the description chat. And one good thing I found about those chats, because I was checking them out, was when you're on the chat, they have this little button where you can exit the page quickly, because obviously you know that the abusers like to monitoring spirit. They'll be checking who you're talking to, where did you go to. So if you're trying to get help and escape, you're busy chatting, they might be checking your phone. So you can exit the page. And when you exit the page, it just takes to a totally random different page and you can delete your browsing history. So you've got to be savvy. But the first thing is they don't send you to go into relationship that is abusive. You will regret it. You will regret it. I'm telling you for free. You will. Just don't go there. Be careful. If you start to see signs, don't say I will pray it out. Just run. Just run. And if you are already in it, well, I wish you well. Get help. You can call the GP, you can call the police if your life is in danger, you can go to your friend's house, you can go back to your father's house. I'm sure nobody is chasing you. It's better to be alive and be able to function than to be killed. We all know the story of Osinachi, which brought uproar to our country, a few years ago. The man, I don't even think anything happened to him that we heard of. So obviously some people can tell me in the comments what happened with that man, but it certainly wasn't a well publicized judgment or punishment for him. And he'll probably marry somebody else, and maybe he's changed, maybe he hasn't, I don't know. But the woman is dead. She's dead, and the anointing that she carried has gone back to the maker, and the children that she has born are left without a mother. And so on that sorry note, I will bid you goodbye. Like, share, subscribe. Dr. Nani signing out.
That I've gotta make a change. I don't care if I break, at least I'll be feeling something. Just okay, it's not enough. Help me fight through the nothingness of